Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock. It's a Sunday. It's time for a review show special. Now, this is where I take a deep dive into a particular subject, a particular creator, a particular prop. And today we're taking a deep dive into Bondley's key magic. That's right. Bondley has just bought out, well, Bondley, Wenzi Magic and MS Magic have just bought out two key related projects. We've got the Key Project and we've got Hopping Key. Now, Key Magic has become a lot more popular in the last few years. My favourite key trick is obviously Keymaster and Gatekeeper, just because I've been doing pretty much my entire career. But over the last couple of years, there's been quite a few key-related stuff that's come out. Hanson Chen, obviously, has brought out Scotch and Whiskey, then brought out Nicholas Lawrence's new key trick with the key going through the bill. Chris Rawlins, obviously, had Hider Key. He's just brought out Hider Key Plus. There's a bunch of key-related magic that's come out recently. Not just these, but a bunch of others. And a lot of it involves shells for keys. So Hider Key and Hider Key Plus involved having a shell, a loose-fitting shell on the key. Scotch and Whiskey involved having like a locking shell, so it's a little bit like a Scotch and soda. And now Bondley has joined in the mix, and he has brought out two key-related projects. Now, the first one is the first one that I'm looking at here is Hopping Key, which is based on hopping halves, and the trailer has been very honest as to how this works. It's basically the same as hopping halves. It uses shells, but instead of shells for coins, it uses shells for keys. And then you've got the Key Project, the shell set, which is basically like an expanded shell for keys. Now, we're going to look at both of these today and talk about how, the pros and the cons, because there's a lot to like about them, but there's also a couple of things that you need to be aware of as well. We're going to start off by looking at Hopping Key, and then we'll look at the Key Project. But let's have a look at Hopping Key first of all. I will tell you that the keys match each other, which is quite nice. So if you buy Hopping Key and you buy the Key Project, the shell set project, the keys, the silver keys that you get in here are going to match the keys that you get in here as well, which is quite good in terms of crossing the two projects over. But first of all, before we do anything, let's have a look at Hopping Key. Okay, so Hopping Key is basically hopping halves with keys. We'll have a look at the gimmicks in a minute, and we'll have a look at everything. But first of all, let's have a look at a performance, okay? So this is going to be a performance of the Hopping Key routine. The tutorial is only about 10 minutes long, and it teaches you 2 or 3 simple routines. This is what they consider to be the main routine. And it's basically, if you know hopping halves, it's hopping halves with keys. So we'll have a look at this one first, and then after we've had a look at it, I'll talk about what I think. I've got 2 keys here, Jack. I've got a silver key and I've got a goldish coloured key. It's called the 2-key trick, Jack. Do you have any idea why it's called the 2-key trick?
No clue.
Uses 2 keys.
Whoa!
I know. Imaginatively titled trick. I'm aware of this. Here's the idea. It's an observation test, though, and I know you're pretty observant because you've seen so much magic. I'm going to take out one of the keys. I'm going to take out this key. I'm going to take out the gold key. I'm going to put the gold key into my pocket down there like this. What does that leave in the hand?
The silver key.
It leaves the silver key until I snap my fingers. You see, when I snap my fingers with a flourish like that, that's the signal that the magic happens. Because you see, that's when the gold key comes back. You see, it's the 2-key trick. That's what the snap does, you see, Jack. It brings the key back. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, that's pretty good, Magic Boy. You can do it with the gold key. Can you do it with the silver key? You're thinking that, aren't you, Jack? You see, I'm a mentalist now as well.
Oh, you're a mentalist.
Yeah, I'm a mentalist now. So I'm going to do it with the silver key as well. Look, I'm going to take the silver key out. I'm going to take that silver key. I'm going to put it in my pocket like this. Nothing happens till I snap my fingers. When I snap my fingers, that's the signal for the magic to happen, Jack. That's when that key goes back in. And now we've got the key back. That's where it's called the 2-key trick. Jack, now you know how the trick works. I want you to watch very carefully, see if you can spot it. We have 2 keys. We have a gold key. We have a silver key. We reach in. We take out the silver key. The silver key goes into the pocket. All you have to do is tell me how many keys in the hand.
2?
No, it's only 1, Jack. Because I may have snapped, but I didn't snap with a flourish. If I don't snap with a flourish, there's only ever going to be 1 key. But Jack, if I want this key to come back, I could snap with a flourish, or Jack, you could snap with a flourish. With a flourish. in your best magician-y way, I want to snap your fingers. If I was a key, I would have come back. That's amazing. Let's check. Feels a bit heavier. Look at that, Jack. You're amazing. Now, we could do this all day. We could do this all day, as Captain America would say. But we're going to go for the big finish. Look, 2 keys. Jack, are you ready for this?
For what?
I will take out the gold key. I'm going to put the gold key into my pockets. I want to snap your fingers again, Jack. A little bit louder, Jack. A little bit louder, Jack.
Can't make it louder.
Don't forget the flourish, Jack. The problem is you snap too many times. Do you know what happens when you snap too many times, Jack?
They're gone.
Both of the keys go, and where do they go? Well, over here, in the card box.
What the fuck did they get in there?
That is where the 2 keys are kept. And Jack, that is the 2 key trick. Okay, so that's a performance of Hopping Key. Now, anybody who's been in Magic for 0.3 seconds will know that Hopping Halves has been a standout. It's been a mainstay of so many commercial workers' routines for the last few years. And the reason is, it's a very commercial plot. It looks like it requires difficult sleight of hand, whilst in reality, it's pretty much self-working. The gimmicks do all the works for you. And it's the same with this. So what you get here, just so you guys are aware, you get a few things. And I'll take everything out so you can see exactly what it is that you get. If you know Hopping Halves, then you're going to know what you're going to get. So you're going to get a silver key. You're going to get a shell for that silver key. Now, unlike a coin shell, something that you need to be aware of, because these keys are cut and because of how they work, the key has to be orientated the correct way for it to fit in the shell. And that's something you need to be aware of, especially if you're working with multiple keys. It's not really so much of an issue with this one, but it is for the other one. But the key that's inserted into this has to be orientated the correct way. Now, the coverage of the shell is very good. You'll know from coin magic that the coverage of the shell is the most important thing. And you can look at this from every side and you won't realize that it's got a shell on it, because the shell comes completely flush with the bottom of the key, which is quite nice. So when you're showing it like this, it really looks like one key. It really does. So you've got that, you've got that. Now, the other thing that you have is you have this key right here. This is basically a copper silver key. So it's gold on one side, it's silver on the other. And as with all the others, there are 2 shells. So you have 2 shells with this one. The first shell goes on. I think that's the first one. And then the second shell goes on. So the second one is a little bit bigger than the first one. So this is just like the Hopping Half gimmick. It's basically that's the best way to describe it. It's basically a sun and moon coin, but built into a key. And those are the gimmicked keys, and then you get 2 regular keys with it as well. And in the routine, you could, if you wanted to have them examined at the beginning, you could have the 2 gimmick keys palmed, hand out the 2 regular keys. Obviously, these can be on a keychain. You can take them off the keychain, have them examined, do the switch, and take the keychain and put it away in your pocket, ditching these keys. Or you can have these on the key fob, and you just take these out and you don't have them examined, and you can do what I did, which is have these in an impossible location to finish. So put them in a card box, put them somewhere, maybe put them into a quiver or something like that. But you can have them reappear at the end somewhere else. So these gimmicks are very, very well made. When you're, the tutorial's very, very good. There's a couple of studio performances, which is fine. I would have liked to have seen live performances, but you know, at this point, I don't think Bondley does that. The handling of this is very simple. You just reach in and you take out the key. You're actually taking off the shell. You put that in your pocket and it comes back. Obviously, if you're aware of Hopping Halves, it's basically the same thing, right? Now, here's the one negative that I'm going to tell you about right now. And it's up to you whether you find this an issue or not. The one negative that I'm going to tell you is that the keys look good, right? So the keys do look good. They look like real keys in every way. You wouldn't look at these. They're a bit squished, but they look like real keys. However, when you feel them, even though they're made out of metal, they feel a bit plasticky. They don't feel like real keys. Now, I think you'll probably get away with that because there's so many different brands of keys in the world that it's probably not too much of an issue. But when you're doing something with a gimmicked key, you don't want them to feel gimmicked. Now, in this routine, it's not really too much of an issue because this routine is structured so that you don't ever put the keys in the spectator's hand. But there are times when you do want to do that. And obviously, if you want to have the keys examined at the beginning, they are going to be touching them and feeling them. And I showed this to a few people in the office, and they all kind of said, yeah, they don't feel like real keys. Now, maybe that's just me because I have here a Keymaster key. And I use this as a frame of reference because I carry Keymaster around with me everywhere. And it was really important that when Penguin redesigned Keymaster, it felt like a real key. And I supply them uncut, obviously, because that's the best way. I prefer using uncut keys. But as you know, if you've got this, you can cut them, not a problem. And you can cut them to the shape of your own house key, which is why I did it this way. But the size is fine. You know, Keymaster's a little bit smaller, but it's not really too much of an issue. But it's just the feel of it. It feels kind of fake a little bit. I don't think if anybody will pick it up, but I think it's worth noting. That's really the only negative I've got with the hopping key set. And I think it's not really a negative in the hopping keys routine itself because you're not really putting the keys into the spectator's hand. Now, on the tutorial, they do go through other routines. So they go through a production style routine, they go through a vanish style routine, they go through a routine where they do a very simple one-phase copper silver. In fact, I filmed a performance of this as well. They did a one-coin copper silver where they only used part of the gimmicks and you couldn't have the keys examined because of the gimmicks that it used. I played around with it for a few minutes and I came up with a way of doing it where they could be examined and it was more of a multi-phase routine. So I'll show you that performance actually so you can see kind of the potential that you've got with this key set. Let's have a look at that performance. Jack, I'm going to show you a trick with a key. This is the key. It is a little gold key. You can check it out. Make sure there's no wires, magnets, threads, trapdoors, secret compartments. Make sure it is what it appears to be. Are you happy with the gold key, Jack?
Yeah.
I also have a silver key, Jack. Do you want to check that one out? Make sure that one's okay. You're not colourblind, are you?
I hope not.
Good, because if you are, this is the worst trick in the world. Two key trick, Jack. Silver key and a gold key. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to put the silver key over here. Where's the silver key, Jack?
There.
So you missed the switch. That's fine. Most people do. It's very easy to miss the switch. I'll do it again. You see, you reach in, you take out the silver key, you put the silver key over here. When you squeeze, that's when the silver key jumps over here in the... Am I going too quickly? I probably am. Look, I'm going to go really slowly. I'm going to take out the silver key, put the silver key here. What's over here?
The gold key?
Of course it is, Jack. I wouldn't cheat you. So what's over here?
The gold key still?
And over here?
The silver key?
Silver key over here. What's over? No, you're right. Silver key over here. Over here we've got the...
Gold?
No, that's the silver key. Jack, if the silver key's over here, what's over here?
The silver as well?
Should we start again? I've got a silver key and I've got a cold key, Jack. And what happens is you reach in, you take out the silver key, you put the silver key over here, you squeeze and they change places. I've told you this 3 times now. Big finish. Hold your hand out for me, Jack. There we go. That's 1 key. That's 2 keys. And that's why they're not bent.
What?
They're not bent. You can see they're not bent. I haven't bent the keys.
Yeah.
You know why they're not bent?
Why?
Because there's 2 keys, not 1 key. 1 key. 1 key. Professional comedy magician, that's me. Close your hand, turn your hand over. I'm going to reach in and take one of the keys out through your thumb hole. That sounds weird. Watch, just take the silver key, put the silver key here, snap my fingers, and that's when it changes places. One more time, look at that. There's the gold key. Open up your hand. You got the silver key, Jack. It's amazing. Don't you think this is amazing?
It's pretty interesting.
But here's the big finish. Look, if I reach in and take a piece of nothing and put the piece of nothing into my pocket, one of those keys vanishes. That just leaves us. Which one do you think's left?
The gold.
Correct, it hits the gold. But if I snap my fingers, that key jumps back in. Now the silver key's back in here. So I've got the silver key. Which one do you want me to take out this time? The silver key or the gold key?
The silver.
You want to take out the silver? Are you sure? Because most people say the gold. I can take out the gold if you want to.
No, the
silver.
silver.
You want to take out the silver? I'll put the silver in my pocket. Jack, if I snap my fingers, what do you think's over here?
The gold.
Let's do a card trick. Boom! Big finish. Okay, so that shows you the sort of thing that you can actually do with these keys. And it's a very nice set. I mean, it really is, and they've done them at a really good price. The actual look of these keys are great. The gimmicks are brilliant. They work perfectly. I think they're going to last a long time. Only negative, as I say, is the feel of the keys. I haven't actually gigged this yet. I haven't actually done this in the real world. I want to, because I love hopping halves. And currently I'm using the Nightshade coin set to do like the 2 coin style trick. Or if I'm in, or if I'm in a situation where there's families and kids, I do level up. But I think this will work really, really well, and will allow me to transition into other key related magic. Because the nice thing is, if I hang these on my keys along with Keymaster, I can just put these back onto my key fob afterwards and say, well, let me show you something with a different key, and take off a different key. So, you know, there's a lot of potential with this. I do like it. I do have reservations about the feel of the keys, but I don't want to make a big deal of that until I've gone out and gigged it. It might not be an issue. It's just something that I picked up on. As it stands, I'm going to give this 92%. I think this is great. I'm giving it less marks, not really because of the quality, but because it could have been a longer tutorial. It feels like they had the idea for this and they were like, let's just get it out quickly. Because honestly, a project like this could have had more than a 10-minute tutorial with one quick trick. There should have been some live performances on there. There should have been some extra routines on there. But as it stands, I can't argue that this is a very well-made key set. And I think anyone that does this is going to have, you know, they're going to have great reactions to it. So let's give it 92%, and then we'll move on to the next routine. Okay, so the next thing we're going to be looking at is the key project, which is the key shell set by Bondley, Wenzi Magic and MS Magic. And what we have here is we basically have 3 silver keys, 1, 2, 3. If I can get that third one out, 3 silver keys and a shell. So once again, just like with the previous routine, these shells, this shell, I should say, there's only one. This shell is perfect. The coverage of it is great. It really is. And it falls out just like it's meant to. It's good. It's really, really good. I very much like it. I very much like the shell. I'm not going to dwell on the negative, but the same negative that I had with the hopping key set is also transferable to this, in that the keys kind of feel a little bit plasticky. I'm going to try this out though, so hopefully I won't find that too much of an issue. But what you can do with this is kind of interesting, because this is in essence an expanded shell. So this will fit on any one of the keys, as long as the keys are orientated the correct way. You do need to remember that the keys are orientated the correct way, and as long as they are, you're good. Obviously, all 3 of the keys are cut exactly the same. I don't think that's too much of an issue either. I don't think people would notice that, but it's worth noting that all 3 of the keys are cut the same way. It would have been nice to have different cuts, because who would carry around 3 of the same key? But then the shell won't work. So I understand why they've done it the way they have, but that's something that I observed. Now, in terms of routines, they go through a few different... This is a slightly longer tutorial. It's 15 minutes in length. It's still too short for a project like this, in my opinion. There should be live performances. There should be multiple routines. There were no live performances. There were studio performances. And it felt like the teaching of the routines was a little rushed, to be perfectly honest. But you got what you needed to know. You got what you needed to know. So the first routine that they go through is a coins across style thing with keys. It would have been nice for them to credit David Roth, because it's very heavily based on David Roth's shell coins across routine. But, you know, if you don't know shell coins across, they're going to teach you this. I'm going to do a performance of this right now. So let's have a look at a performance of the key across routine, so you can see the sort of thing that you can do with this.
Jack, did you listen to any of that? Because if you did, you're going to know exactly what the gimmick was. Doesn't matter. Have a look at the keys, Jack. Check them out. Make sure they're okay. Make sure there's nothing weird about them. Make sure they are what they appear to be, just 3 keys, and they don't feel plasticky at all, and they feel just like normal keys.
No comment.
Good stuff. Anyway, we're going to show you something amazing with 3 keys. It's called the 3 key trick. The reason it's called the 3 key trick is because it uses 3 keys, Jack. This one here is key number 1. This one here is key number 2. And this one here is key number 3. Very good, Jack. I'm going to pop the 3 keys on my hand so you can see them if I kind of spread them out like that. Can you see the 3 keys, Jack?
Okay.
This hand goes into a fist. Watch the 3 keys, Jack. Notice this hand stays over this side of the table. This hand stays over this side of the table. I do not bring this hand over to here. I don't need to. All I have to do is concentrate. And as I concentrate, 1 key makes its magical journey into the other hand.
There you go there.
Looks like you didn't hear what the gimmick was. That's amazing.
I know how it got there.
Yeah, you know how it got, because you were paying attention.
I probably can't expose the trick.
Let's do it again. When they put the name of the gimmick in the title of the trick, I think it's very difficult to not expose how the trick works, Jack. Let's do it again. So we've got 2 keys over here. We're trying to be nice. Maybe that's where I've been going wrong all these years. So we've got 2 keys over here. We've got 1 key over here. Watch very carefully. Watch and don't blink as I do this. I concentrate, and the second one jumps across. That's key number 2. Still with a confused look. That's good. One last one. Hold out one hand for me there, Jack. Look. This one here is key number 1. This one here is key number 2. Would you like this last one to go the easy way or the hard way?
The hard way.
I'm so glad you said that. The easy way is not very impressive. Oh. Looks like that. I tell you what, I'll take 1. You squeeze the other 2. Squeeze them tightly. Turn your hand over. Watch this. I'm going to try and make this final key penetrate solid through solid. 1, 2, 3. That's when the final key goes. You're not going to believe it. Turn your hand over, open it up, and then it's 1, 2, 3. That is the 3 key trick. Woohoo! Uses a shell.
Okay, so that's the key across routine. One thing I will say is obviously finger palm isn't a problem with these keys. Because of how they feel, I am finding it a little bit more difficult to classic palm them. It's not impossible, obviously, as you saw in the routine, but it is a little bit harder to classic palm these keys than I would have liked to have had. But maybe that's just, I need to practice with them a little bit more, maybe. But that's something to bear in mind. There are a couple of routines where you need to classic palm a key, and you would classic palm it in this section right here, like that, with this part pointing towards the wrist. But yeah, that's the shell coins across. Now, with playing with these, I realised that you can kind of do a variation of 3-fly. Now, I've got a 3-fly routine that I've done with keys for years that uses regular keys. It's called key fly. And I realised that you can actually do the same routine with this, totally different methodology, totally different way of doing it, but you can do the same routine with this by adapting coin moves with these keys, and you get a very nice visual of the vanishes of the keys and a very nice visual of the some of the appearances as well. So if you've got this the key shell set and you want to try and play around with a different routine that would work really well to a kind of a group of people, then consider looking into 3-fly. In fact, I'll show you a performance of what I've been playing around with. Now, I've only been playing around with this for a day or 2, but it'll get you an idea of what I think you could do with this. So let's have a look at that performance right now.
3 keys. I'm going to hold them like this, just like that. Now watch this, Jack. I hold the 3 keys at the tips of my fingers. All I have to do is concentrate. And as I go up and down like this and up and down, what happens is the first key at the tips of the fingers, Jack, travels from one hand to the other hand, and the crowd goes crazy. Thanks, Jack. Let's do it again. This time I'm going to make it 20 times harder. I'm going to take the key that's already gone and I'm going to make a fist around it. So there's no way I can cheat. I can't get one of these keys into this hand with the key that's already gone. But if I go up and down and I do this, if I do it fast enough, you'll see that next key melt away. That's key number 2, Jack. Think about this for a minute, Jack. 1 key left to go. 2 have already made their magical journey. Keeping Chen. Watch the last one. Shut up. Watch the last one. 2 keys go in the tightly closed fist. Jack, the last one, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to hold it at the tips of my fingers, and this one, all I have to do is throw it up in the air. And Jack, that is all 1, 2, 3 keys.
Now, on top of that, they're going to tell you how to do vanishes. They've got a variation of the Chris Rawlins routine with hide a key, where it's dangling off the keychain and the key vanishes, dangling off the keychain and appears somewhere else. It would have been nice for them to credit Chris Rawlins, but they didn't. But, you know, that's very, very similar to what hide a key is. And then on top of that, they're going to teach you a few other things. The main routine that they teach you involves a ribbon, and it's a little bit like Charming Chinese Challenge. Now, I don't have a ribbon, unfortunately, today, so I'm going to show you the routine. I've been playing around with doing it with a cord anyway. And some of the moves that Bon Lee teaches you with a ribbon don't work with a cord, but I quite like the idea of using a cord. I actually think that it opens up other possibilities. Anybody who's got this will know exactly what I'm talking about. So this isn't the routine that Bon Lee is going to perform and explain on the tutorial, but it gives you a rough idea of the sort of thing that you can learn. It's a little bit like Charming Chinese Challenge, but with keys, and it uses the shell and the 3 keys to very good effect. So this is a kind of a variation on that with a chord, but it'll give you an idea of what you can do.
Jack.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, my friend?
All right.
You good?
Yeah. Good. I'm working. Yeah. Oh, I don't need much.
What?
I don't know.
What are you doing, dude? Do me a favour. Can you shove that in there?
Beg your pardon?
Put the thing in the hole. Thank you.
Okay.
You tell me, Jack, is this an optical illusion, or have I actually threaded, well, you did it, not me, 3 keys onto a piece of cord?
Yeah, they're on.
They're on, right? So if you hold onto the ends there, and I hold onto the keys, is there any way to make the first key penetrate through the solid cord?
No.
So this would be quite impressive.
What the fuck?
I know. Now, when people see me do this, Jack, you know what they say?
What the fuck?
No, actually, they go, oh, it's a special key. It's got a hole that opens up. Do you see a hole there, Jack? You can have a look if you want to. The reason I let you look at that is because that's not how it's done, Jack. That is absolutely not how it's done. Look, we're going to do it again. Watch. You can hold on to the ends there, Jack. Look, do you see the 2 keys there? That's not an optical illusion. I want you to see that they really are on there, right, Jack?
Yeah, sure.
Watch. I'm going to do this way. So you can see it at the tips of the fingers. I just reach in, I squeeze, and I can take that next one off. That's number 2. Check that one out, Jack. Isn't this weird?
How are you doing
The clue is in the name of the trick, to be honest, Jack. It's go back and
You're fronting the illusion.
let's do it one last time, Jack. Let's do it one last time. Shall I do it one last time?
Go on then.
This last one's the hardest one. Do you know why?
Because you got 1 key.
Because I've got 1 key, yeah, but it's harder because of how this last one goes off. Hold your hand out for me. Take these, squeeze them tightly. Squeeze the 2 tightly, turn your hand over. And you're going to do this last one yourself. With your spare hand, you have got a spare hand, right? Take the ends and hold on to the ends. So you're holding on to the ends there. I'm holding on to the key. It's going to penetrate 3 times.
3?
Yeah. First of all, it's going to penetrate off the cord. Then it's going to penetrate through the back of my hand. And then it's going to penetrate through the back of your hand. And if magic was real, 1 penetration, 2 penetrations, 3 penetrations. If magic was real, it would look like that. Open up your hand.
Hey.
Look at that. 3 keys in the hand.
Oh,
Hey.
you damaged my hand. Oh, that nasty scar you left.
That's what happens when you get 3 penetrations in 5 minutes.
So there you go. So that's what you get in the project. You get 3 keys, you get a shell, you get a 15-minute tutorial teaching you how to do everything, and it's all put inside a very nice box. I think that this is going to be... I think that most magicians will prefer the hopping key routine because that's very, very easy. You can do it straight away. A lot of people don't do coin magic. They want their magic like this to be relatively easy. I think that the hopping key, one of the 2 of them, is going to be more popular. But I think for coin workers and people who've got some experience doing coin magic, I think there's more possibilities with the key project. I think there's more things that you can do because you've got 3 matching keys, you've got a shell. So any routines that require 3 coins and a shell are immediately transferable. And if you get both of them, well, the opportunities then, you've basically, if you get both the key shell set and the hopping key set, you've basically got, you've got 4 regular keys, you've got two silver shells, You've got 2 gold shells. You've got a couple of regular gold keys. You've got a copper silver key in essence. You've got a lot, and they're all going to match each other, which is quite nice. As I said, the same is true of this. That is true with hopping key, which is I just think that the keys don't feel like real keys. That's the only negative I've got with this whole project. I'm going to give this 93%. I think it's slightly better than hopping key. I think they're both really good, but I think this one just slightly edges it. But as I say, if you can, go into a magic shop and feel the key for yourself first. Maybe I'm just making a mountain out of a molehill. Maybe it's not a big deal. But it's something that I'm going to be testing out. And I will get back to you guys. I'll get back to you and let you know what I think. But as I say, I think that's the only negative I've got. But it still gets 93%. It's very well put together. I just wish they'd do a longer tutorial as well. But 93% for the key project. So there you go, guys. That's another video in the bag. That's another review show in the bag. Once again, thank you for joining me right here on Magic TV. Now, don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, you know what you got to do. You just got to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. You can get the both of the key projects from all good magic dealers. If you haven't already done so, make sure you go and check out the Q&A from this morning, and make sure you check out the Talk Magic from yesterday. I will be back again very, very soon with another video, so make sure you look out for that new video coming soon. Tomorrow we've got a 5x5 and a Magic Live, so check out that. And once again, thank you for joining me this week on Magic TV. Regardless of how many videos you've watched on this channel, I really appreciate it. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.